Hello queens, angels, and goddesses. Welcome back to my channel. Warning, this contains boy love, and if you don't like it then please get off my channel. Water pistol. Grinning face with cowboy hat. As the first matches of the spring tournament neared, I became clear for the Kyouhaba Jousei volleyball club that Kyouhaba was preparing Kyouhaba to be the next captain. They spent lunch breaks together and there were days when the two of them stayed back in the club room after practice. Needless to say, Kyouhaba was beaming. He was so happy that Kyouhaba had chosen him. He practiced harder than anyone and even took notes about everything Kyouhaba had said. Everyone was perfectly fine with those happenings, everyone, but Kyouhaba Kintaro. The boy did not understand why, but his stomach churned each time he saw the two sitting at a table together or when Kyouhaba ruffled Kyouhaba's hair after a successful toss at practice. The wide and happy smile Kyouhaba gave to Kyouhaba at those occasions made Kyouhaba's heart clench. There were times he wished to be the one who get those smiles and bath in that admiration Kyouhaba always had in his eyes whenever he was with Kyouhaba. Hey! He walked up to Iwaizumi, who had just finished his blocking practice with Hanamaki and Matsukawa. The third year turned towards him with a questioning look in his eyes. "Aren't you bothered by that?" he asked, poking his head towards the Kyouhaba pair. It was not a secret for anyone that Iwaizumi and Kyouhaba were in a relationship. It was as natural as breathing and the whole team took it well, sometimes more than well. Their banters often lit the mood, especially after a crushing defeat, like the one they had against Shiratorizawa in June. Iwaizumi cocked his head to the side in question. "What is with them?" Kyouhaba rolled his eyes as if it was the dumbest question of the world. Iwaizumi narrowed his eyes in anger. "Those two idiots spent more time together than with anyone else," Kyouhaba pointed out with his hands on his hips. "As Kyouhaba's boyfriend, do not tell me it is not bothering you." Iwaizumi's eyes widened slightly, then a grin crawled on his lips. Without any warnings, he grabbed Kyouhaba by the front of his t-shirt and started tugging him towards Kyouhaba and Kyouhaba, with the curious Hanamaki Matsukawa duo in tow. Kyouhaba wriggled to break free, but when he realized it was in vain, he only growled in frustration. "Hey, Shitakawa," he called as they neared the pair in the corner of the gym. Kyouhaba turned towards them with a childish pout on his lips. Iwaizumi turned his gaze towards the ceiling. "Iwa-chan. Do not call me like that in front of my beloved Kyohei," he whined, hugging Kyouhaba by the shoulder. Kyouhaba all but snarled. "You said yesterday that Kyouhaba needs to practice receiving," Iwaizumi said, paying no attention to Kyouhaba's complaints. "I brought the best partner for him to do that." "What are you talking about?" He started, but when he saw Kyouhaba standing behind Iwaizumi, a devilish little smirk appeared on his lips. "Oh, I remember now." Kyouhaba groaned loudly. If he had to choose, he would do literally anything else than practicing with Kyouhaba. That guy was violent, had a low patience level and overall Kyouhaba just could not stand him. He saw as Kyouhaba baring his teeth because of his antics. The other, after Iwaizumi had let him go on his own wool, walked up to Kyouhaba and grabbed his wrist. Kyouhaba yelped in protest, sending a nasty glare to the short-haired blonde. Kyouhaba paid it no mind, of course. "Kyouhaba wants you to practice receiving," he grumbled, looking back at Kyouhaba. "I thought you would do anything he wanted without complaints." From the look in Kyouhaba's eyes, Kyouhaba knew that the other boy was close to kick him. The locker room was empty when they stepped in. Kyouhaba kept Kyouhaba in the gym by sending him receives over and over again while watching all the other members of the team leaving. Kyouhaba watched that too, and as he sent a sad look to Kyouhaba, who waved him goodbye as he left the gym by Iwaizumi's side, he got a ball in the face. Kyouhaba sat down on the bench, rubbing his forehead. His forearms were red and stung with pain because of Kyouhaba's unnaturally strong serves. He had no idea what had gotten into the other, but he was sure as hell he did not like it. The other was too quiet for his liking and the atmosphere was so heavy Kyouhaba knew that one small comment would be enough for it to explode into a big argument. "I feel sorry for you," Kyouhaba spoke up as he changed back into his school uniform. Kyouhaba snapped his head towards him with an exasperated grunt. "Adoring someone as much as you do who has already had a boyfriend." Kyouhaba had no idea why he said what he said. He knew that he was an asshole, but as soon as the sight of Kyouhaba and Kyouhaba doing anything together came back to him, he just could not bring himself to care about the other's feelings. From the corner of his eye, he saw Kyouhaba's eyes widening and his mouth hanging open. He knew he pushed a button. In the next moment, he was shoved into the lockers, Kyouhaba's face being inches away from his. He was snarling with his eyes burning with anger. How dare that asshole say something like that? As if he knew anything about him. Kyoutane's face was calm as though he was expecting that reaction. It made Kyouhaba's blood boil even more. Why do you even care? Kyouhaba whispered, gritting his teeth. Suddenly, he felt as two hands grabbed his cheeks and a mouth was smashed to his. His eyes became twice as big as usual and his lips parted, earning a tongue slipping into his mouth. He could not help of the moan coming out of his lips and the shiver running down on his spine because of Kyoutane's possessive growl. When they parted, Kyoutane pushed him aside and walked up to the door. Before leaving, he turned towards his direction. Understand now? Warning: this fanfiction does not belong to me, neither does the fan art. Credits to the original artist and author to the fan art and the fanfiction. Hey, Kyou does not belong to me either. Well, bye children, smiling face with hearts.